All right, so the first thing with any good golf swing, of course, we have to learn how to put our hands on the golf club. George always said that we want to put our hands on in a very neutral position. In fact, he said as though it's in prayer. So he made it, if we clap our hands together in a prayer position and put them down in front of us, that's a very neutral grip. And he believed in a neutral grip. He wasn't really a strong grip player. He liked people to have a very neutral grip and a very active body motion. So let's talk about his neutral grip. His thing was that with a neutral grip, and he didn't really care if you overlapped, interlocked, used a 10-finger grip. That wasn't really his thing. He just wanted the hands and arms not to be too contrived, too strong, too weak. So a very neutral grip. A lot of great players play from a neutral position. A lot of great players play from a strong position. It was just George's preference to play from a neutral position. He felt that it was your best chance to take that club face and deliver it squarely on a ball in his free swinging style. So your grip, basically a very neutral hold. In George's case, he was big on posture. He really wanted you to have a nice tall posture. The sensation was a very freewheeling motion where you could finish and be nice and tall when you made a swing. So it was a very tall attitude. He always said posture was the attitude of body and mind, and he really wanted you to have a nice tall feeling, a full chest feeling when you're over the golf ball. Never to be hunched and slumped over. So those two things, for most of you watching this video, you've already got your hands on the club well. Now maybe you want to look at your posture a little bit and try to have that nice, full, tall attitude that George promotes. Let's look at how he liked to set up to the golf ball. This is a little bit different than most teachers, by the way. I think it might help a lot of you with balance, because balance, again, we never want to do anything at the expense of balance, because very rarely, maybe with the exception of Arnold Palmer as a great player, most of your best players have tremendous balance. They look graceful when they swing a golf club, and George was one of the most graceful. So when George set into a golf ball, one of the things that was crucial to him was the placement of his left foot. He wanted the left foot to be outside of the left shoulder. Now, a lot of people have a little narrower stance. George believed that the left foot should be turned out, splayed out 20 to 25 degrees, and that left foot should be outside the left shoulder, so that when we go into our unloading motion, we can arrive on balance on a nice flat left foot, not so much turned onto the outstep like you will see with a lot of players. So it's a Hogan fundamental that he says he picked up on the range when he watched Hogan at Cypress back in the 50s. It was one of the little factors that he said Hogan did differently than anybody else. So that's why he picked it up. He said Hogan landed on his left foot in balance more than any other player. That's why he put it into his golf game. The left foot just outside of the left shoulder. So as an exaggeration, if you can imagine my left foot well outside my left shoulder, it really gives us a place to go to land in balance. So that's a mild exaggeration, but it gives you the idea that we have a motion that we're going to load, unload, always with the target in mind. George was a big fan of target orientation. So every swing, it's vital that even though I'm looking down at the golf ball, my intention's not really on the golf ball. Sure, I see a white ball on green grass, but the reality is my mind is locked on my target. You know, George was always a believer in the pre-shot routine of assessing your target, burning the image of your target into your mind, taking that image, and even while looking down at the golf ball, we're going to connect with the target. We're going to do everything we can in our loading and unloading motion to, once again, connect with the target. And the golf ball is just in the way of that loading and unloading motion.